Imagine moving through life with unstoppable flow, where mastery comes effortlessly and every challenge bends to your will. Discover the secrets of living without struggle, aligning with the natural rhythm of life, stripping away the unnecessary, acting with precision without forcing, maintaining a still and sharp mind, adapting like water to every situation, conquering your inner battles, embracing discipline that liberates rather than binds, and achieving victory through harmony rather than domination. This is not theory. It is a way to transform your mind, body, and spirit. Are you ready to rise beyond struggle and claim effortless mastery? Do not push the river. It flows by itself. When you begin to understand this truth, life becomes lighter and your actions more powerful. Too often, we fight against the natural rhythm of things, straining, forcing, and exhausting ourselves in the process. Struggle creates tension, and tension blinds us to opportunity. The river does not force its way through the rocks. It finds a path, effortless yet unstoppable. In this way, mastery is not born from struggle, but from alignment with the flow of life. When you move with flow, every action feels natural. There is no hesitation, no wasted effort, no inner conflict. You simply respond, like a hand that opens when it needs to, or a breath that rises and falls without command. Mastery becomes the art of living in rhythm with the moment. It is not about fighting time, but about being on time with the unfolding of life itself. Look closely at nature. The tree does not strive to grow, it simply grows. The bird does not struggle to fly, it takes flight as its nature. In the same way, when you learn to stop forcing, you discover a power far greater than force. A punch that is tense will be weak, but a punch that flows without resistance carries true speed, precision, and power. Effortless action is not laziness. It is economy, it is purity. It is being so connected with the present moment that there is no separation between you and what must be done. The struggle begins only when the mind interferes. When you doubt, when you overthink, when you hesitate, the natural rhythm is broken. But when the mind is still, the body moves with intelligence of its own. Action emerges like water rushing down a mountain. Smooth, powerful, unstoppable, yet without effort. This is why force cannot compare to flow. Force burns out, flow endures. Do not mistake softness for weakness. Water is soft, but it shapes stone. It never fights, yet it always wins. That is the way of effortless mastery. Victory does not come from tightening the fist harder, but from knowing when to release. To struggle is to waste energy. To flow is to conserve it. The path of mastery is not about doing more, but about doing only what is needed in harmony with the moment. So let go of the need to push, let go of the urge to control every outcome. Trust the rhythm of life. Trust that by aligning yourself with flow, you will move further, faster, and with less struggle than force could ever achieve. Mastery is not to conquer life, but to move as life itself. That is true victory. Flowing without force, moving without struggle. Simplicity is power. The mind often believes that mastery is found in complexity, that the more we add, the more skilled we become. But this is illusion. True mastery comes not from accumulation, but from elimination. It is not about doing 10,000 things, but about doing one thing with such clarity that it becomes perfect. When you strip away the unnecessary, what remains is pure, direct, and unstoppable. Think of a blade. If it is covered with decoration, weighed down with unnecessary attachments, its edge becomes dull. But when sharpened, refined, reduced to its essence, it cuts effortlessly. The same is true in life, in action, in thought. Complexity wastes energy, creates confusion, slows you down. Simplicity makes you fast, precise, and free. To master simplicity is to master economy of motion, economy of thought, and economy of being. Many people chase endless techniques, endless knowledge, endless possessions, believing these things will bring strength or victory. But strength is not in quantity. A single movement, executed without hesitation, with absolute clarity is greater than 1,000 scattered techniques performed with doubt. One word spoken at the right time can carry more impact than an entire speech. One focused step forward is worth more than 100 wasted in hesitation. The human mind loves to complicate. It hides behind layers, it collects distractions, it attaches to things that do not matter. But the path of mastery is subtraction, not addition. To simplify is to cut away the false, the extra, the meaningless. It is to find the essence, the core, the truth of your expression. Like carving a statue, you do not add more stone. You remove everything that does not belong until the figure emerges in its purity. In movement, this simplicity becomes directness. You do not need flourishes. You do not need wasted motion. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Efficiency is strength. Precision is power. To act simply, without clutter, without hesitation, is to act with the fullness of your being. In that moment, there is no conflict inside you, no division. Simplicity unites you with your action, but simplicity is not only in movement, it is in life itself. When your mind is clear, when your spirit is free of unnecessary burdens, you move with greater ease. Simplicity brings freedom, and freedom brings mastery. The one who carries little can move quickly, while the one who carries too much stumbles under the weight. To live simply is to live in alignment with your true nature, without being chained by excess. So remember, power is not found in how much you can hold, but in how much you can release. True mastery is discovered when all that is false is cut away, and only what is essential remains. That is the strength of simplicity, pure, direct, and unstoppable. To win without struggle is to act without forcing. This is the way of effortless action, where movement arises naturally, without resistance, without strain. When you force, you create opposition. When you let action flow, you meet no resistance. Just as water moves around the stone, finding its way with ease, so too must your actions be guided by responsiveness rather than tension. True mastery lies not in pressing harder, but in moving in harmony with the situation as it unfolds. When you try to force things, you trap yourself. The body becomes stiff, the mind becomes clouded, and the spirit grows heavy. You may move, but your movements are rigid, disconnected, filled with wasted effort. But when you release the need to push, when you trust the rhythm of the moment, your action flows as if guided by something greater. You do not have to think, you do not have to struggle, you simply respond. It is like breathing. You do not command it, yet it sustains you effortlessly. This is the secret of alignment. When your mind, body, and spirit are not in conflict, every action is precise, every movement efficient. There is no separation between you and what must be done. It happens as naturally as the tide meeting the shore. A strike delivered with tension is weak. A strike delivered with relaxation and clarity carries true speed and force. It is not the strain that makes it strong, but the release. Life itself teaches this lesson. Look at the bamboo. It bends with the wind, yet it does not break. If it resisted, it would snap under the storm. But because it yields, it survives, and in its yielding, it is strong. In the same way, to win without struggle is to adapt without resistance, to move with the currents instead of against them. You do not waste energy battling what cannot be controlled. You channel that energy into what can be expressed. Do not mistake effortlessness for weakness. To act without forcing does not mean to be passive or idle. It means to act with such clarity and precision that no energy is wasted. It means moving only as much as needed, no more, no less. Like water flowing through the narrowest gap, you find the opening and pass through without effort, yet with unstoppable momentum. The greatest victories are not those won with strain and conflict, but those achieved in silence, with no wasted motion, with no inner struggle. When you are in harmony with the moment, even the most difficult challenge can be met without fear or resistance. You flow, you adapt, you overcome not by overpowering, but by aligning. That is the essence of effortless action, winning without struggle, moving without forcing. When the mind is calm, action is precise. In stillness, you see clearly, and in clarity, there is no hesitation. Many people believe that strength is born out of tension, that to win you must be aggressive, loud, and forceful. But tension clouds judgment, and aggression blinds awareness. The sharpest weapon is not a hand clenched in strain, but a mind that is steady, quiet, and undisturbed. When the mind is still, every movement becomes exact. Every decision comes without doubt, and every response is natural. Consider a lake on a quiet morning. When the surface is still, it reflects everything with perfect clarity. But when the waters are disturbed, nothing can be seen clearly. The mind is no different. A restless mind distorts reality, while a calm mind mirrors truth. To act from calmness is to act from truth, and truth always cuts deeper than force. It is not about silencing the world outside, but about finding the still point within, where no distraction can touch you. When the mind is agitated, the body follows. Movements become stiff, choices become uncertain, and mistakes are born. But when the mind is calm, the body becomes free, fluid, and natural. In this state, you do not need to calculate every motion. The action simply arises at the right moment, with the right force in the right direction. There is no wasted energy, no hesitation, no conflict between thought and action. This is the natural intelligence of stillness. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is control. To remain calm when chaos surrounds you is to hold the greatest advantage. In conflict, the one who panics first loses clarity, and the one who loses clarity loses control. The calm mind sees openings, recognizes timing, and responds with precision. While others burn out their strength through struggle, the calm one endures, acting only when it is necessary, and striking with absolute certainty. Life itself will test this calmness. Situations will rise to provoke you, people will challenge you, and the unexpected will come without warning. If you meet them with agitation, you are already defeated before the battle begins. But if you remain centered, if your inner waters remain still, then no storm can shake you. From this state, victory is not forced. It emerges naturally, without struggle, because clarity always triumphs over confusion. Cultivating stillness does not mean avoiding life. It means meeting life with a steady heart, an unshaken spirit, and a mind that remains clear no matter the circumstance. In this calmness, there is a power beyond effort, a strength that cannot be broken, and a presence that cannot be disturbed. That is why the still mind is the sharpest weapon, and the calm spirit the truest victory. Be water, my friend. Adaptation is the essence of mastery. Too often, people approach life and its challenges with rigidity, believing that strength comes from holding firm, from insisting that the world bend to their will. But rigidity breaks under pressure, while flexibility endures. To master anything, you must learn to adjust, to flow, to move with circumstances rather than against them. Adaptation is not weakness. It is intelligence. It is strategy. It is the quiet power that allows the seemingly impossible to become effortless. When you are rigid, every obstacle becomes a wall. You collide with resistance and waste energy, struggling against forces that will always push back. But when you adapt, obstacles become guides. Challenges become teachers. Like water that takes the shape of any container, you shape yourself to the situation, finding the path that requires the least resistance, yet carries the greatest impact. There is elegance in this approach, a strength that cannot be measured by brute force, because it moves beyond force entirely. The world is never static. Circumstances change, people change, and nothing stays the same. To insist that your way remains unchanged is to set yourself up for failure. True mastery comes from observing, understanding, and responding in the moment. You do not react blindly, but you do not force. You flow, you adjust, and in doing so, you remain unshaken. Flexibility allows you to absorb what comes at you and redirect it with precision. This principle applies to every aspect of life. In movement, rigidity slows you down. Flexibility makes you swift. In thought, inflexibility limits your vision. Openness allows insight. In relationships, insistence breeds conflict. Adaptability fosters harmony. To bend without breaking is the hallmark of strength. To yield without surrender is the mark of a master. There is no shame in adjusting your approach, no weakness in altering your path when circumstances demand it. Adaptation also requires awareness. You must observe clearly, understand deeply, and choose wisely. Water flows effortlessly, but it does so with purpose. It finds the lowest path, the path of least resistance, and yet it shapes everything in its course. Similarly, when you align yourself with life's currents, you conserve energy, maximize impact, and move with an efficiency that rigid force could never achieve. Adaptation is not passive. It is an active intelligence, a deliberate, conscious choice to work with life instead of against it. The truly strong do not break when challenged. They bend, they adjust, and they continue. In this way, mastery is not about overpowering the world, but about becoming part of its rhythm. Flexibility allows you to move through life with grace, to overcome without struggle, to achieve without unnecessary effort. That is why adaptation creates mastery, and those who bend without breaking will endure, prevail, and rise above every obstacle. The greatest battles are not fought outside, but within. Many look at life and believe victory is about defeating others, about gaining power over people or situations. But the truth is, the most difficult opponent you will ever face is yourself. Fear, doubt, hesitation, anger, these are the enemies that live within. If you cannot master them, no amount of skill, strength, or technique will bring you peace or lasting victory. The battlefield of the mind is where the real struggle takes place. And it is only by conquering this ground that you will ever move freely in the world outside. Think of doubt. It creeps in like a shadow, whispering that you are not ready, not enough, not capable. When you listen, your movements weaken, your spirit shrinks, and opportunities pass you by. Or fear. It paralyzes. It makes you resist what must be faced. Even with great strength in the body, fear in the mind renders you powerless. Anger, too, blinds you. It makes you reckless, pulls you into battles you do not need to fight, wastes energy that should be preserved. Victory over others may come and go, but unless you overcome these inner forces, you remain defeated. But when you conquer the inner battle, the outer battle becomes effortless. When fear is mastered, courage arises naturally. When doubt is dissolved, confidence shines without arrogance. When anger no longer controls you, clarity guides your choices. From this state, action flows. There is no resistance inside, no inner struggle weighing you down. The outside world reflects the strength of your inner world. And this is why the greatest victory begins within. This does not mean suppressing these emotions or pretending they do not exist. It means understanding them, seeing them for what they are, and transforming them. Fear becomes alertness. Doubt becomes preparation. Anger becomes fuel for discipline. Every inner obstacle can be turned into a source of power if you meet it with awareness instead of resistance. When you master the self, everything else aligns and life itself becomes less of a struggle. True victory is not about domination, it is about freedom. To be free from the chains of your own mind is the highest triumph. Then, no matter the opponent, no matter the challenge, you walk into it already complete. The world cannot shake you because you are no longer fighting yourself. You do not waste energy in inner conflict, so every ounce of strength is available for what matters most. In this way, you win without struggle, because you have already achieved harmony within. That is why victory begins within, and once you master yourself, no outside force can defeat you. Discipline should not feel like a chain. Too often, People think that to be disciplined is to suffer, to force themselves through pain, to endure hardship with gritted teeth. But true discipline is not punishment. It is alignment with purpose. When your actions are guided by clarity and intent, discipline becomes effortless, not a burden. It is the quiet commitment to do what must be done, not because you are forced, but because it is natural, necessary, and in harmony with your goals. Many fail to see the difference between discipline and struggle. They believe that if it is easy, it is not discipline. But ease does not negate rigor. The strongest trees grow in the wind, yet their growth is not force. It is consistent, patient, and responsive. True discipline is about creating structure that supports your growth without draining your energy. It is about habits that reinforce your purpose, not habits that punish your spirit. When discipline is aligned with purpose, it becomes freedom. You are no longer enslaved by distraction, temptation, or indecision. Your focus is clear, your actions deliberate, and your energy preserved. The tasks that once felt like burdens become natural extensions of your intention. You do not push against yourself. Instead, you flow within the framework you have created. And this flow makes mastery possible. Discipline, without strain, requires self-awareness. You must know what is essential, what serves your growth, and what is unnecessary. To waste effort on trivialities is to misunderstand discipline entirely. Focus on what truly matters and let go of what does not. The more precise your discipline, the lighter it becomes, and the more power it generates. It is not about doing more, but about doing what is meaningful, consistently and consciously. Many stumble because they mistake external rules for discipline. True discipline comes from within. It is the alignment of action with intention, the bridge between desire and execution. You create it through awareness, through practice, and through commitment to your own highest standard. When internalized, it is no longer laborious. It is a rhythm, a natural cadence that carries you forward, guiding your steps without friction. In this way, discipline is not separate from life. It enhances it. It does not confine, it liberates. It gives structure to your freedom, clarity to your choices, and power to your actions. When you practice discipline without strain, you move with certainty, act with precision, and achieve without unnecessary effort. Your life becomes a reflection of purpose realized, not struggle endured. Discipline is not the weight you carry. It is the wings that allow you to rise. To defeat another is small victory. Many measure success by the challenges they overcome, by the opponents they best, by the obstacles they crush beneath their feet. But true victory is far greater than conquest over others. It begins with harmony, with understanding, with mastery of the self. When you are in conflict with yourself, no external triumph can satisfy. But when your mind, body, and spirit are aligned, when you move in harmony with life itself, every action becomes effortless, and every challenge becomes an opportunity rather than a struggle. True mastery is not about domination. It is about balance. It is about knowing when to act and when to yield, when to push and when to release. There is power in restraint, in choosing your battles wisely, and in conserving your energy for what truly matters. Those who seek victory through force alone often expend their strength in vain, leaving themselves exhausted and incomplete. But those who understand the rhythm of life, who act with awareness and intention, achieve results without unnecessary conflict, and their victories are lasting. Harmony begins within. When the mind is calm, the body responds naturally. When the heart is aligned with purpose, decisions arise with clarity. When you conquer doubt, fear, and distraction, the world outside no longer feels like an adversary. You do not need to struggle against it because you are already in tune with it. In this state, your actions carry precision, your presence carries weight, and your influence extends beyond effort. The challenges you face are no longer obstacles to overcome, but mirrors reflecting the depth of your mastery. To rise without enemies is to rise in freedom. External opposition may test you, but it cannot bind you. You act not out of anger, pride, or fear, but out of understanding, strategy, and awareness. Your movement is fluid, your choice is deliberate, and your impact inevitable. This is the essence of effortless mastery. Victory that comes without conflict, strength that requires no force, an achievement that leaves no residue of struggle behind. Life itself rewards those who master themselves first. The greatest leaders, the most skilled artists, the most accomplished individuals, none are defined solely by their victories over others. They are defined by their ability to maintain integrity, focus, and balance while navigating the currents of life. By mastering yourself, you create a space where others may challenge you, yet cannot unseat you. The world moves, storms arise, and people resist, but your center remains unshaken. True victory is therefore not about beating the world, but about moving with it. It is about aligning your energy, thoughts, and intentions so fully that effort becomes unnecessary, struggle disappears, and the results are inevitable. This is not a philosophy of passivity, but of supreme effectiveness, the art of achieving everything that matters without wasting what does not. That is why true victory is harmony, and mastery begins with the self.